well said. Everyone is only looking at the CSR pie, but please understand our CSR pie is not really very big. Because if we withdraw the funds from the CSR, what will happen to the CSR activities? Because CSR activities are also equally important and they are committed to certain long-term projects. CSR is not a monthly project kind of a thing. With larger companies, companies like Reliance, who have a profit of 40,000 crores, their CSR fund is something like 800 crores every year. And they don't spend that money randomly. They commit it on a long-term basis. So those projects are committed on a long-term basis. It would not be fair to expect much out of that, and there are hardly any companies who are unable to spend the money. As it is, because of decline in GDP, because of decline in profitability, the profits are not there. CSR funds are also not increasing very much. They are a factor of last 3 years average profit, and last 3 years average profit of companies has not been very high. That profit has been going down, and that is reflecting in the stock market. The financial markets are in a complete turmoil, which used to create huge profits. So while I agree that yes, that could have been a window, but do I see it as a window? I'm afraid I don't see much opportunity there. As it is, I'm worried all these big businesses are committing funds to the PM Care Fund. All that is a diversion, because government has allowed that fund to be now allocated to this purpose. So big companies have already started diverting the funds. All these 1,500 crores is not an additional funding by Tata Group. It is only diverting the existing portfolio of the CSR.
Mhm.
The Reliance Group is giving money, that is again diverting their CSR. So it is a double-edged sword. We should look at it carefully. While I say this, I see, there is going to be a threefold uh, action on this front, because the employment is certainly going to go down because of the GDP going down, because we were looking forward to a GDP growth of about 6% on the reasonable side. That has now been brought down to about 3%. If we get 3%, India would still be the fastest growing economy in the world. It's not that any other economy would be ahead of us. And that means that $3 trillion economy, which was expecting almost $0.2 trillion kind of a growth, that will not get a business volume of about $0.1 trillion. Now that is huge money. So if that money has to be recovered, employment will come only when that kind of a business is generated. If that business is not generated, employment cannot come. And where will the employment come from? Employment will come from, obviously not the companies, because companies will take time to get back to normal, and they will have to, the small and medium companies, they will have to immediately shut down. Many of these companies will have to be shut down because their cash flows will not be in a position to afford the businesses. So all the three areas will have to take care of. Employees will have to, for the first time, agree that okay, we will take a cut of 20-25% straight away. Employers will also have to keep aside profit expectations for the while. Government will have to give. Government will have to support the companies Government has already agreed to fund the PPF and uh, mainly the PF funding has been agreed by the government for a couple of months, but I think that should be extended. So all these three people, if they contribute in the right way, employees cutting down and employer not expecting very high profit, not getting greedy about profit, and government supporting these companies, then probably we will have a situation we will be able to afford to maintain the structure, overall infrastructure for running the businesses. Because once you lose the infrastructure of the business, then it is very difficult to bring it back. So I think that is on the one side, and the opportunities which are going to come and one should look at are small businesses. Small businesses will be a huge opportunity, nano businesses, not even the MSME type businesses. So these businesses will be nano businesses, and the biggest opportunity that will come is in reskilling people. People will have to be reskilled because suddenly, after this 21 days of a different world, when people go back to their offices, it will not be the same old workplace. It would be a very different workplace. So people will have to get themselves quickly reskilled. Reskilling to a situation of being a self starter, working without a supervisor. You don't have to go to office to show the color of your shirt in a camera which is being seen by somewhere else. So these are the areas where people will have to be self starters and mainly self drive, and they will have to behave like, if not entrepreneurs, but at least like an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
So within the company, their role will change and people will have to prepare themselves for that role. Like today, people sitting at home know that I have to bring money. It is not the owner who's thinking. It is these people who are thinking that I have to bring revenue. So this is a major change which people will have to relate to. So work from home, they will have to also be educated and assured that the jobs are going. You will have to handle multiple jobs. If one job was giving you 50,000 rupees, you will not be able to get that job for 50,000. For 50,000 rupees, you will have to work for two companies or three companies.
Mhm.
Sitting at home, you will have to do freelancing. So these are the opportunity areas which individuals will have to do. Small business will be there. On the larger businesses, the opportunities will come in healthcare in a big way. And people will have to prepare themselves on the healthcare front because suddenly there'll be a mad rush now for healthcare and pharma companies. All the investments and everything from US will come into India for healthcare. Probably they would also like to maintain some kind of a remote or a satellite healthcare support system. Today, they don't have enough ICUs. So if they have to put people in ICUs in next situation, something like this, they will have to have an infrastructure. So probably huge investments will come in healthcare business, and that will be a huge opportunity. Technology again will be a huge opportunity area. So these are the new opportunity areas I see, and the loss of this GDP, if we can recover through these initiatives, then probably we'll be able to hold back the employments. Otherwise, the employments will not be held back. There will be chaos. So this is how I see things happening, and I think this 1 month period, it's not 3 weeks actually, is going to be more than a month. So this will really, if going to change the workplaces, it will also change the people, and they would be far more prepared to go back to the work in a different scenario. unlike the 2008 scenario where suddenly something happened elsewhere and next very day they had to face something in India. That kind of a situation is not there today. Everyone knows that my salaries will be reduced, and that mindset is in place.
Mhm.
That okay, if I'm not going to get 20% more salary, or if my 20% salary will be paid to me after 5 years, the challenge will be to retain the high performers.
Right.
That's a big challenge for the HR function, because whenever such a situation arises, there is a bigger demand for high performers.